So I was trying to clean out some cum from my fucking fursuit the other day. Are we live?
Yeah, well, hey guys, welcome to the MDcast. It's been a few weeks because we've been running around in the woods trying to recover what we can of Tyler. Turns out raccoons, they just ain't working anymore. They aren't cutting it. We've had some very bad experiences, and we haven't revived him yet, but we figured it's time we get back into the podcast. We're thinking maybe we'll hop down to the Old Town Road and get some horses, and that might cut it.
Our funds are being really exhausted on Tyler's funerals because his family still doesn't want to really accept the fact that we're just going to bring him back every time. So
yeah, you know, they say we got to commit to this stuff, but
just in case one day we can't, they want an actual funeral. So we've been to like maybe 5 by now.
Yeah. Because they're very traditional. Every time he dies, it's always got to be a funeral. You can't just have one to cover it all, because obviously, if he's alive again, it's a Christmas miracle. So when he dies again, it's a Christmas tragedy.
And we can't bury him either.
Yeah. I mean, we just have to dig it back up, and I mean, at that point, we're the bad guys.
Yeah, that's a crime. We don't commit crimes here.
We don't commit crimes here. We only commit crimes against nature. Not against society.
Not against the law.
Yeah. Speaking of Christmas special!
It is a Christmas special. Here you go, Kyle. I got you a present.
Oh, lordy Lou. I see an LCBO bag. What have we got in here? Oh my! That's a large bottle of Finlandia.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you, my friend.
And this
too. What have we here? Is it a thing to go on my head?
Indeed.
Oh, it's a fine hat. It kind of fits on my head.
They didn't sell them at Lids anymore, and I was scouring all of London for hats.
I think they usually sell them at, like, Moores, or maybe?
Moores.
I
didn't check
fancy
Moores.
Places. Fair enough. Yes, well, I need bigger hats because my head is fat and stupid.
Yes, you do have a very large gargantuan head.
It's to fit my gargantuan brain.
I wear small hats because I have small brain, you see.
Yes, well, it's to make room for the big heart. The big heart on this Christmas Eve. It's not Christmas Eve.
It's not Christmas Eve. We're just recording this closest to the time when it would be suitable to do.
Yes.
Actually, no, it is Christmas. It is Christmas.
Yes. The Christmas special.
Christmas special is only ever filmed and uploaded on Christmas.
Yeah. This is filmed on Christmas Day. I have left my family. We were going to exchange gifts, but I came here instead, and we are now. They are crying, but it's podcast time, so it does not matter.
Indeed, it is podcast time. You said you had a dream you wanted to.
I had a few.
I had a few as well.
I'll start off with the kind of serious ones. I had some weird, elaborate dreams, and one I wrote them. I had to write these down because, you know, chasing animals through the woods for 2 weeks. You know, you can't remember all your dreams.
The days kind of just fuse together.
Yeah, you know, it'd be that way. But I wrote some of them down. The first one was this weird thing where I was a member of I was like in a secret criminal organization, but I was a spy. And so I was a rat, and I remember some dude. Rats. The dude who got me into the organization was some dude named Randall. His name really isn't much important. But his name was Randall, and I think he was kind of fat. It was really weird because I was living up the life of like important criminal organization guy, and
were you doing cocaine and smashing honeys on the poolside?
The second one, yes. It was there was this. I had a habit in this dream of going to clubs. Women would approach me. That's how I knew this was a dream. But every single time I would get with a woman, they would always reveal that they were a high-ranking member of the organization. And rather than play it cool or be smooth or something, I would instantly kill them on the spot. With my bare hands, mind. So there's one girl, and she wore cat ears for some reason, and she reveals, I'm a member of an organization. You may not have heard of it because it's super special. And I tried to play it cool. I'm like, I see. But while I did this, I reached into her chest cavity and tore her in half. And this just proceeded for a while until the organization was like,
dude, we're running out of people.
they sit there as like, we got a spy. And so there was another guy who was also a spy in the organization, and they had suspicions about him because I guess his cover was getting strained. So they're like, we're gonna leave you with a warning. They removed all of his limbs and then half of his torso. So he survived. He was still alive, but he was just a head on
one
like
hell of a warning.
He was a head on a rib cage, and they just leave him at that. And he rolled away, and they're like, don't do it again. But then they finally call this meeting, and they're like, all right, everybody, we have a rat, and we know who it is. And I'm sitting there like, oh no. And then I look to the side, and I see the head man, the other spy, who is just a head in a rib cage. I see him kind of roll out into the aisle, looking like sad, like, oh shit, they found me out. And then they're like, it's Randall! So they fucking execute Randall, and I'm like, we are safe another day. And that was that entire dream, and it was very strange, but I was thankful I was never found out. Another one that I had told you before was...
Wait, just to backtrack, the you killing women with your bare hands, that's really funny to me, because I remember the last time after we were recording, we were fucking drunk, and I was just rambling on like, I just want to crush a watermelon with my thighs, and then you just said, I just want to crush a woman with my hands.
I did say that. Oh. Yeah.
Okay, dream.
Dream on. It was Christmas, so there's
like
your continuity. Now. Yeah! This is real, this is gonna happen.
This is Crimbus.
Yeah! But I was sitting at a house at home on Christmas with a bunch of people and my family, and a bunch of the people were like, alright, we're gonna leave now, Christmas is over. So they go to leave, and the entire lawn explodes and they die. And instantly, one of the people who is still there, he's like, oh shit, it's hackers. They're here. This is a sign of hackers. They're going to invade our home. And so everyone's like, oh shit, hackers, we gotta hide. So they all run and hide. I sit on the couch and I wrap myself in a blanket and say, I will stay here. The guy who warned us just sat on the couch, and my own mother sat on the couch. Eventually a truck pulls up and some people just walk into the room, and I knew they were hackers for some reason. I don't know why. They just look like normal dudes, but one of them just has this massive extension cord, and he says, "Okay, guys, we're gonna plug this into your outlet, and just chill out while we plug this into your outlet." He plugs the extension cord into the power outlet, and the person who warned me about the hackers in the first place sits there like, "This is what they do. They're gonna steal our Wi-Fi."
Oh no, it's Dr. Hackerman.
It's Dr. Hackerman. Yeah, and then I guess they stole our Wi-Fi. I woke up after that. But this final one,
final dream.
I don't remember a lot about this one, but all I wrote down is the black crust.
Don't you hate that? Like, I roll over out like in bed, and I'm like, oh, that was a really weird dream. I'm gonna write the key points down so that I understand what it is. And then I wake up in the morning, I look at it, and it's like poopy floor. What did I mean by this?
Oh, I know what I meant by this, and it's not what you expect.
Oh?
Alright. I was at someone's house. It was reminiscent of an old friend's house. And we went down to the basement where he had a TV set up. And it was a very unfinished basement. There's no actual, like, walls. It's just the supports with some stuff behind them. So technically walls, I guess. But, We go down there, and I guess they were trying to play some stuff on the TV. But I get down there, and a friend, the friend or whatever, he puts his hand on my shoulder and says, "Look out, it's the black crust." And so I look to the side, and standing in front of the TV, I don't know how to explain. All right, so Bart Simpson, right?
Okay.
You know, imagine Bart Simpson. He is pitch black. So it's this pitch black Bart Simpson silhouette.
Blah!
It's got his proportions, so his, big head and his big fucking kid's beer gut or whatever. But he's scaled up to be the size of a man. So he's this massive...
So he's Homer.
Yeah, but Bart. You're not wrong. But, so it's this black Bart silhouette standing there.
Black Bart?
The only thing visible on him that's not just black silhouette is this big smile. And the reason he was called the Black Crust was because, you know how when you take an image, and a small image, and you try to make it larger, you get artifacting around the edge of it, and it's all like crusty. He looked like that. And... so he's just standing there in the room like, oh no, it's the Black Crust. What do we do? He said, I don't know, let's just leave. So we left. And he just remained in the basement.
Oh yes, I'd like to welcome our guest today. It's the Black Crust.
Oh no, the Black Crust. He's here to ruin our podcast.
He's here to stand in the corner and make things very uncomfortable.
Yes, he's there to smile at us. Well, that was my dreamscape adventure.
Okay, I'm gonna save my main dream for a bit later because I feel like I need to be more drunk to talk about it.
Oh boy.
So the one that I had, I just titled it Mitch Gay.
This one's for you, Mitch.
Yeah, this one goes out to you, Mitch. I had our dear friend Mitch. He was on a few episodes ago. I had a dream that he was in it, and we were standing in front of a building, and there were a bunch of just gay people there for whatever reason. Mm-hmm. And
just like flamboyant gay, or these they just
looked like normal people.
Okay,
but I guess
you just know they are gay.
I just guessed that Mitch knew that they were gay or something, but he was just sitting there making fun of them and everything. And then I said, Mitch, why do you make fun of gay people so much? Is it because you're insecure about your own sexuality? And then he went cross-eyed. And then he said, yes. And then we were on top of a building and he jumped off.
Mitch, no.
I'd like to clarify, Mitch isn't actually gay in real life. Or as far as I know.
As far as we know, Mitch, come on the podcast again and defend yourself.
Yes, come on the podcast and defend yourself. Defend your honor.
Defend your honor from these accusations.
First off, I'd like to say I'm not cross-eyed.
Get the real elephant out of the room. The important parts.
Okay, so another thing that happened at my work, I have one coworker, very, very nice person, but, like, she never strikes me as somebody that would be making, like, the kind of lies that I would.
Oh, yeah.
So, and I believed it. I wholeheartedly believed it.
You fell for your own tricks.
I did. And she said we got on the topic of Queer Eye for the Straight Guy, and I've never seen the show. I never, like, even really knew about the show or the premise of it. She said that she watched a few episodes, and she said it wasn't a bad show. And then I said, what's it about? Like, what's the purpose of it? And she said, oh, they take somebody that is really insecure about themselves, and then they make them gay by the end of the episode. And I was like, what? That sounds bizarre. But, like, I knew that it was too strange to be true, but part of me believed it.
You feel it.
And then she was like, are you serious? Did you actually think that was the premise of the show?
That's a very mundane dream.
No, that was real.
That was real?
That happened in real life.
Oh, no!
This just proves that
small
brain Eric is... Oh, man, I'm dumb.
I thought that was still another dream.
Nope, that one was real.
Oh, you've been foiled.
That actually segues into another thing. I had my my work Christmas party a few Saturdays ago, and that's why we didn't record that day.
Yes.
I got very intoxicated.
As one does. It's for Christmas.
Yes. It was for the folks at home. I have no folks at home. But during that time, I met up with all of my bosses and all my coworkers, and we were all drinking together. And I go up to the head of the company, and he says, "Hey, Eric, how's it going?" And I asked him that at the same time, so neither of us answered. We both just kind of awkwardly walked away. And then a few hours later, I had to go to the bathroom, and some of my other coworkers were there at the urinals. So I yelled out really loud, "Does anybody else's piss glow in the dark?" And then two of my higher ups walk out of the bathroom stalls. And they were both smiling and laughing at me. It was a good night.
This is how you get ahead. This is how you game the system.
This is how you climb the corporate ladder.
Yes. They should have just the ones at the urinal should have just turned around and said, "Yeah, you want to see?"
Okay, let's talk movie intros. I saw The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo the other day.
Mm-hmm.
It was a very good movie. I have yet to read the book, but one thing that it had that I really like seeing that I rarely ever see in movies, it had a really good, like, intro where they play a song and they have a bunch of, like, crazy visuals and shit. Most of the time seen in the James Bond movies. Yeah. Actually, I think it just might be a Daniel Craig trope. Because maybe. He had... I mean, all the James Bond movies had intros in them, but then the dragon with a girl tattoo.
Yes, tattoo of a man.
The tattoo of a man on Tyler with a dragon tattoo of a girl.
Yes, Dragon Ball.
Dragon Ball tattoo of a girl man.
Yes, that's a Fuda.
It could be a trap.
We don't know.
Fudas have large dicks. Traps have small ones. Actually, no. Fudas also have boobs. This is a strange dilemma. Anyway, this is
a very deep matter, which we cannot get into right now.
We're talking movie intros.
Yes.
So, that one has a really cool intro, where they have, like, people that are made out of grease and shit, and they're getting strangled by cables, and it plays, "Come from the land of the ice and snow, and the midnight suns and a hot spring glow." Immigrant Song, that's what it's called.
Yeah.
I had to sing some of it to remember. But it had, like, a girl singing it, and it was, like, a really crazy version where she was screaming and shit. It was a really cool intro.
It's the immigrant. Now it's an immigrant song.
But I really liked that, and then I went and I watched some of my favorite James Bond intros. Chris Cornell's You Know My Name being one of them from Casino Royale. I love that one too. I want to see more intros like that before movies start.
Mm-hmm. Well, because, like, it's a thing you don't see as much anymore, because you would see them because they'd have the opening credits of a movie, but nowadays they tend to just have, like, you know, panning shots, or sometimes
I hate those. Yeah. Those are boring.
The only one I liked was Beetlejuice's.
Beetlejuice is a different breed.
Beetlejuice was a fun one. But, yeah, you don't see it very often because they just have other stuff instead of those.
I know what L.A. looks like. I know what New York looks like. Stop showing me them at the start of movies!
Don't show me L.A. in movies. Speaking of movies, I recently watched the apparently it's called the Shyamalan trilogy, which is strange because Shyamalan has had many movies, but it's a trilogy of Unbreakable, Split, and Glass.
Yes.
Have you seen those movies?
I have not.
They are actually pretty good.
Alright.
And it's really, they're kind of weird because they're superhero origin stories, and a supervillain origin story as well. But, like, not. They aren't, like, actual, like, superhero kind of things. They're just, like, they don't seem that way, despite how that is.
It's like superheroes, but put into, like, a normal world.
Yeah, they're kind of like real superheroes, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, Unbreakable, you know, I'll say more about Unbreakable because That movie's fucking old, so most people have probably seen it already. But, you know, that one, it was Bruce Willis, man, in a train crash.
Dr. Bruce Willis.
Yes, Dr. Bruce Willis, Esquire. He's in a train crash, and he's the only survivor, and he gets out with no wounds whatsoever.
I would have survived.
Yeah, you know, fuck those guys.
Fuck those. They aren't me.
Bruce
I would have totally survived. I would have befriended Bruce Willis.
Yeah.
And then I would have been the star of the movie.
Yeah. I would have been Mr. Unbreakable.
I would have been Mr. Train Conductor because I crashed it.
But yeah, that he survived it, and then of course the entire movie is him like, you know, one guy who apparently has like brittle bones and shit, and they easily break or whatever.
Brittle bones.
He's like a comic enthusiast, so he's like, you could be a superhero and you don't know it. And of course it's it barely even has a plot to it. It's basically just him like, shit, I might be a superhero, man. And then like at the end he saves a family or some shit. But it was actually a pretty good movie, despite what I initially thought. And then fucking Split was probably my favorite of them because it was about a
supervillain.
Yes, it was about a dude who had multiple personality disorder. So he would just split between like I think there were like 24 different personalities, but you only saw like maybe half of them at most. Obviously, can't show all of them. But he basically abducted 3 girls, and you kind of jump between him talking to his therapist and the girls' experience trying to not be captured anymore. And the interesting thing about it that ties into Unbreakable is that each personality has basically a different physical makeup. So, like, rather than just being different personalities, they are actually different people. So there's one of the personalities that actually needs insulin, whereas no others do. And it's, others have talents that the others don't. And the kind of key thing is that the girls he kidnaps, he sits there, he's like, the beast is coming for you. You gotta, you can't stop the beast. The beast is scary. And of course, the therapist is trying to tell him, like, the beast doesn't exist. It's not real. But he's like, no, the beast is coming. And that one's a really good movie. But with fucking... And it's... that one follows less to the comic book origin thing, but it's still there. Glass follows, is the final movie, follows a lot of the comic book stuff. And the thing I felt weirdest about that one, all throughout the movie, I'm sitting there like tearing it apart, like, this doesn't make sense. These thought processes, they don't make sense, and I'm finding it hard to get invested in it. And then at the end... It's one of those things where you reach the end and you look back and it's like, oh shit, it wasn't supposed to make sense. It wasn't supposed to make sense, so it all makes sense.
Wacky.
Yes, but it's very good trilogy. Certainly would recommend it. Although it's probably the only real Shyamalan films that I really want to watch. I've seen a bit of Signs. Other than that,
I still
really
don't
interested.
like Signs.
I liked it when I was a kid, but that's because I never watched the whole movie. I just saw the good bits. Because I had a friend who showed it to me, and he just skipped around. I'm like, hey, can we watch the actual movie? He's like, why would you want to do that? I'm like, okay, whatever.
Okay, Kyle.
Yeah.
Let's make up some anagrams.
Anagrams?
Like you take words like stop would be sometimes Timmy opens pussy.
Damn, Timmy.
Okay, let's make up some anagrams. You go first.
Okay.
Wait, give me letters, and I'll make words.
Give you letters? You want, like, an actual word to make the letters from?
No. That's
okay.
too hard. Like 3 letters.
Okay. R-A-W. That's a word. Whatever.
R-A-W?
R-A-W.
Red anal waxing.
It had to be red.
Okay. You get CMV.
CMV. Oh, it had to have a V in there.
V ain't so hard.
Hold on. CMV?
Yes.
Okay. Collection, we'll say collection of masochistic virtues.
Okay.
I don't know why you'd want a collection of masochistic virtues.
I mean, some people are whack. That
is true. Anal wax. Red anal wax. Alright, JPR.
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 Jared's prostate reconnection.
I hope he's happy about it.
He lost it in a grease fire.
How does that even work?
You know what? Sometimes...
Are we talking like he ate too much Taco Bell and suddenly there was a fire in his anus?
No.
No.
Sometimes fact is truer than fiction.
That's not a fact, though.
Okay. You get W.
W.
C.
C.
N.
N. Oh, I was just about to shout the N-word. WCN?
Yes.
Alright. You're sitting there
Okay.
fucking cracking up about it.
Because I thought of a bunch of ones that could end with the N-word.
WCN. Wayland's cognitive.
Okay. N is now off the books.
Wayland's cognitive nanny.
Nanny.
She is very cognitive of everything he does.
Okay. What's mine?
K.
No.
H. Let's go L. HL. F.
Homer's large fart.
That one came to you too fast. Oh no.
Okay. You get F-O-K.
Fuck. Let's see. F-O-K. Fuck. Okay.
Alright, what's mine?
M-A-S.
Mass?
Mass. But not mass. It's like mass.
Master. Ay, suck.
Master A.
A.
Who is this Master A?
You get GHJ.
GHJ. Gargantuan Hentai Junction.
Alright.
Alright.
I like it.
I like it like that.
Cardi B ruined that song.
Yeah, fuck Cardi B. Cardi B, don't come on the podcast to defend yourself.
No,
Just
actually,
take it.
Cardi B, come on the podcast so we can harass you more.
Cardi B special.
I don't care about anything else you do. You ruined that song for me.
We tie her up and put her in the basement to record a podcast.
No, she has to come on her own will.
Oof.
I want her to be furious.
Storms into the room, kicks your dog.
Hey, that's my dog. Kicks
That's
my own
my-
dog.
Dog continues to bark.
Yeah, probably. She has been good this episode so far.
So far.
Hasn't barked at all yet.
We'll see how far that gets us.
Yeah, indeed. Okay, what's mine? We've been looking on the keyboard, by the way.
You have. I looked behind you to the mass bag. Okay, EGG.
EGG?
EGG.
Everybody getting got.
Respectable. Don't get got, kids.
You get NNN.
Alright. Nike Nicks Nuts.
Nick's nuts.
Nicks Nuts.
Alright.
They're nicking nuts. You get NOG.
Nobody opens Goatsy.
Except
Except
Goatsy himself. Alright. You get NHK.
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 Nothing happens, cuh.
Nothing happens.
Nothing happens, cuh.
Ain't
Alright.
nothing gonna happen.
You get ASX.
Ass.
That's not 3 words.
Ass. It's like leaving a high score. Ass. Alright. ASX?
Yes.
Asphyxiation served expressly.
That's an E.
No, it's cool.
No.
So it's an X.
Okay. You get xylophone.
The entire word.
Okay. Wait, give me my word.
Alright. You get, LNI.
Light novel investments.
Solid.
Alright, you get DFY.
DFY?
Don't fuck yordles.
Excuse me! This will not fly! The yordles are perfect.
In every single way.
We've been playing League lately.
We have. We were Yordle Squad today.
Yes. Eric recently picked up the old League O legendaries. And,
You want another drink?
Yes, I very much would. Fucking Eric mains Tristana, the little Yordle. And I tried to play a few different things, but I wound up playing Poppy with him, so we were Yordle Squad, and we just abused people all day. It worked surprisingly well for not knowing what the fuck I was doing.
We beat the shit out of Garen multiple times. We bullied Garen.
Fucking Garen.
The whole game.
Yeah, well, he gets what he deserves. Fucking Shane mains Garen.
He does?
Yeah. Garen and Darius. I think it's actually Darius. I think he just
Darius.
plays a bit of Garen. I always get them mixed up because they're virtually the fucking same.
We gotta play with Shane someday.
Yeah. Once he fixes his fucking internet. Calling you out, Shane. Fix your shit.
He's not gonna hear this. He can't listen to it. Or no, he probably can. His internet only doesn't work for video games.
It's unstable. So.
Okay, we're gonna send this to him.
Yeah. We're coming at you, Shane.
Shane, love you, BB.
Love you. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
League has been fun. I like it a lot more than I thought I would.
Yeah. Pretty good. Enjoyable. I enjoy playing it now that I actually have someone to play it with, which isn't usually the case. When it works. It broke Eric's account.
Mine broke, so I had to steal someone else's because I'm Dr. Hacker Man.
Yeah.
I hacked Kyle's house.
Yeah. You plugged your extension cord into my power
big
outlets.
giant extension cord. I stole your Wi-Fi.
My Wi-Fi, no.
Have you ever seen the picture of the kid with two big magnets, and he goes up to a TV and he puts them? He has the magnets pressed against the TV screen, and it makes the screen go all wacky.
Yeah.
Somebody took that picture and said, "Oh no, he's stealing all the channels."
Fucking yeah. The fucking hackers.
Hackers. So I have a hypothetical.
Oh no.
What would you do if you were just sitting in your room and then a butt no clips through the wall?
Like, are we talking disembodied butt, or it's like sitting at the wall so you don't know if it's embodied, or is it just a full person with their butt in my face?
It looks like it could be attached to someone, but it's just no clipped through the wall.
Okay. Stuck in wall fetish.
It starts shitting. The room is filling.
I kick it out.
You can't.
Why not?
It's stuck. It keeps shitting. It's up to your ankles now. What do you do?
I cut out a hole in the wall and push it.
It takes maybe a few minutes. Okay, as soon as you open the door, it starts flooding the downstairs. You can't find us all. What do you do now?
I find a large object and I insert it.
A man's head no clips through the wall, and he starts screaming.
I tell him, "Oh, stop your fucking shit!"
He says, "You're molesting me," and then a hand with a phone no clips through the wall, and it starts dialing 911. What do you do?
I loudly announce so that the police can hear. I'll molest you harder if you don't stop shitting through my wall.
The police show up. You're standing there waist deep, covered in shit. The police say, what do you have to say for yourself?
I say, well, ain't that some shit?
pull out their guns and shoot you 14 times. This was stupid.
Good ending.
You unlocked the good ending.
Oh, that's a topic. Like,
what are you trying to segue into? Okay, just keep going. Let me tell you about them no clipping butts. I swear.
Let me tell you about them ass clips. How do you feel about multiple endings in games? Like how they tend to get those going?
I don't mind them as long as you can go from like the certain load points to change them, because I don't want to have to play through the entire game just to unlock all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Or well, in the days of the internet now, I just tend to like, if they're the Until Dawn kind of ones, where like there's not really much there gameplay wise, I'll just watch people play them.
Mm-hmm.
And like if I like the YouTuber enough, I'll watch one playthrough and then I'll go on to another one.
Yeah.
And then I'll see how they do it. And then I'll just watch a compilation of all the multiple endings. I don't mind them. It's just, I feel like they sacrifice gameplay value when they go through and animate all the other endings and stuff. Possibly,
yeah. I was thinking about that because I was thinking about like old RPG Maker games and all that. And I was just thinking of the times where you're forced into an ending, and then you go to your last save near the end, and then you go through to the next ending or whatever, and you do that again, and then you get like the true ending or whatever. And I always find those weird. Mm-hmm. It's a very weird structure to go through to ensure someone gets all the endings. And like, I was on the topic of those like endings you need to go through the whole game for. This year I had played Sekiro.
Yes.
Very good game. But the true ending is very hard to get and requires a lot of cryptic bullshit to do. And, it's very easy to lock yourself out of the final ending. And I sit there, I'm like, I really enjoyed the game. I'm not sure if I want to go through the entire game again just to get that true ending. Mm-hmm. And it's always it. And on that topic, how do you feel about those games where you finish the game and then you unlock something for the next run? Like, not roguelikes, or roguelites, whatevers. Not the things where it's supposed to be short runs. I'm talking like a full game, you beat it, and then it's like, you have now unlocked this ability, or whatever.
I'm okay with them if they allow you to take them into the next playthrough. Because I don't really like it when games give you, like, all the super cool stuff at the very end that you wish you had for the entire game. Mm-hmm. I hate that.
Yeah, I really hate that, too.
Saints Row, it's kind of different where, like, it has the whole, like, free roam value. But after you beat the story and all the side missions and everything, there's not really much to do in Saints Row.
Yeah, no, there really isn't. And it's like, it's fun to fuck around in the sandbox for a while, but eventually it's just like,
I have all this stuff, but I really wish that I had it during the story.
Yeah. And it's like, even with Saints Row, there are so many times in Saints Row where they just take away stuff. Mm-hmm. And you can't actually properly use it, and it's like, what's the point? But, yeah. I always find it, a strange thing to always bring it into the next thing. Because it's always some, like, cool ability or whatever, or cool something or other. But then it's like,
it kind of loses its touch after a while, though, because if you keep it at the same difficulty, you're just breezing through the game. There's like no joy in the struggle when you have like all that super high level stuff.
That is true. There are exceptions. There are some games, sometimes they'll offer like a New Game Plus where it's added difficulty or whatever. Although personally, I find a lot of New Game Plus stuff is just kind of bullshit.
Yeah.
It's always, I don't know, it's always that artificial kind of difficulty where it's like, alright, enemies are stronger, they just have more health.
We gave them more health, and now they do, like, slightly more damage.
Yeah, well, not even slightly, it's usually like a shit ton more damage, and now, like, the armor you had before doesn't really matter. Ugh, it's wacky. But it's always like, I always feel kind of bummed out when I unlock something like that. And I go like, man, I just finished the game. I don't really want to play through it again right now. Mm-hmm. But I do really like roguelikes, so those are fun.
What are roguelikes again?
Roguelikes are the ones, or Someone might get pissy about it if I
Fuck
call it a
them.
roguelike, but roguelite, whatever. They're the ones where they're designed for short runs, where it's supposed to be very difficult. You won't succeed on every run, but as you go through the runs, you will unlock stuff for later runs permanently.
Huh.
Stuff like Enter the Gungeon, Nuclear Throne.
I don't think I've ever played one then.
Maybe not.
Huh.
I don't know.
Wacky.
Yeah, there are good ones, and they are fun. Enter the Gungeon is the only one I've really played and sunk much time into. Everyone's always like, "Oh, Binding of Isaac, Binding of Isaac. It's the best roguelike ever." I've never played Isaac. I think it's interesting. I don't really have much interest in playing it. But
I've actually been kind of interested in playing Binding of Isaac, just because I like the way that it looks.
yeah, it is very nice aesthetically, and it's like it's a nice game, and I wouldn't mind playing it. But my first problem with it is that it seems fairly slow early on, and it's either it's extremely slow and not much is going on, or it's just you walk into a room and the room is now empty because you just fucking killed everything with all your upgrades. And I've seen a lot of content on it. I feel I've kind of seen what there is to see, and I don't really feel like playing it, honestly.
Because you've just watched so many other people play
Oh
it.
yeah, I've seen. I doubt I've seen every item, because there are a lot of fucking items. I have never seen every character used, because most people either just use the main base character, or one of the, like, challenge characers, like,
I see a
you die
lot
in
of
one
people
hit.
using Azazel.
Yeah, because Azazel gets a fucking laser. I only really ever see people play Isaac, because it's the base one, there's no difference to it, or the Lost, because with the Lost, you die in one hit.
That's horrifying. I
Yeah.
wouldn't like that.
I remember I used to watch a dude who would do a lot of runs. He'd get like really far into it, but then he'd die in one hit. And he's like, "Argh." But yeah, I mean, I never had an interest in playing it. The only one I really played was Enter the Gungeon, because I really like that one, because it takes elements of bullet hell into it, and so it starts off fairly simple. You have a few bullets. Because that's the fun thing about the Gungeon. Everything's themed after guns. It's a dungeon about guns. Your enemies are bullets with guns.
Huh.
And they waddle at you and shoot bullets. And everything is based on guns. You would get different guns. You get things that aren't guns and use them as guns. And there's a lot of gimmick stuff. Like you would get a lowercase r. Because you ever seen a lowercase r and you think it looks like a little gun? Like a shitty drawing of a gun?
Kind of.
Yeah, you get a lowercase r, and it shoots the word bullet. It shoots out every letter of bullet, and it goes bullet. And then when you reload it, the little line when you're typing comes up, deletes it, and then types it again. And it's stuff like that makes it great. And of course, it takes elements of bullet hell. So where it starts off with a few projectiles going around, by the later levels, it's just bullets everywhere. And it's one of those things that's actually like very rewarding to figure out. And it's just charming. It's got a real nice aesthetic. And all the bosses are also gun things, like some simple stuff like the Gatling Gull, which is just a giant muscle bird with a Gatling gun. But then you get actual, more puns like the Cannon Balrog, or the fucking Beholster. It's a beholder, and every tentacle is holding a different gun.
That actually sounds really cool. How's the art for it?
Oh, it's actually very good. It's naturally got a like kind of pixely looking style, but then they've got like actual artwork for splash screens and stuff when bosses appear in that, and so each character has their own artwork for it. Every boss has its own little portrait. I find it a very nice looking game. And I think it's very good.
I will have to give that one a look.
Yes, if you ask me, getting into bullet hells, or not bullet hells, but I mean technically getting into roguelikes, that one's a good one to get into. It's just fun. It's just a fun game. They got good characters that are actually different to play. They got characters to unlock, a lot of endings and bosses and shit. Very fun. The only other one that I've ever really like seen that's like high notoriety was Nuclear Throne. And I know people who play Nuclear Throne, and I've heard a lot about Nuclear Throne. I've never played it. And that one's just about like mutants and shit. And it's weird. I don't really know a whole lot about that one, but I hear it's apparently one of the great roguelikes. So yeah.
I think I'm drunk enough to talk about my dream now.
Okay.
So, I read a lot of Warhammer. Yes, this is the Warhammer segment.
You need to be drunk to talk about that?
This one, I don't know why. I just felt like I had to be drunk for it. But I had a dream that I was a high-ranking official on an imperial planet, and I was in a city that wasn't like very heavily defended, or like there wasn't a lot of Astra Militarum stationed there, and like it didn't have another like large city on the planet either. And they said, okay, we have a Tyranid fleet on the way.
A Tyranid fleet?
Yes.
Do they actually have fleets?
They do.
Okay.
They travel around in giant fucking live ships.
Ah, lovely.
And that's where the hive mind is normally stationed. But
makes sense.
The lead guy, he was saying, I have a plan devised to combat the Tyranids. We'll just get everybody on the planet here, and we'll just defend like it's any other normal enemy. And then I stood up and I was like, no, I am taking over this meeting now. And I push the guy into his seat. Like, I grab him and I throw him into his seat. And I say, okay, here's what we're going to do. You were saying that we're going to defend it from the gates. We forgot about the entire pier that's behind us because it was a dock city.
Okay.
There was like a giant ocean behind us.
It's like a harbor.
And yeah, and he was like, okay, we're just gonna, they won't come from the water, they can't swim. And I was like, okay, so the thing you need to understand about the Tyranids is they will attack from anywhere. It doesn't matter. You need to be 3 steps ahead of them, and then even if you are, before you know it, they're already in front of you. So I said, so you said they're only gonna attack from the city walls and that'll be it. They're just dumb bugs, right? Right. So we're just going to leave the entire pier undefended. And he said, well, yeah, they can't swim. And I said, okay, yeah, they can't swim. But then they start launching their pods in the water, and then all of a sudden they say, we need to be able to swim. So they evolve, and then they become the best swimmers in the entire universe. And they eat all the ocean life, they get stronger, and then they attack the pier. And then they come from the side that no one's defending, and then we're all dead. Here's how we're going to do it. We are going to get everybody off of this planet in our ships. We're going to go to the biggest planet that has the most defenses, and then we're going to blow this planet up. And then we're going to do that with every other planet, because we need to scorch the Earth.
Destroy every planet.
Except for the biggest one that has the best defenses and the most people on it.
Isn't that Terra?
In our relative vicinity.
Okay.
So I say, we're going to do that, and then one guy stands up, and he says, now, hold on, that doesn't sound very ethical. This is our planet. And then I pull out my gun and I shoot him.
No dissenters!
And I say, if anybody has objections about blowing this planet up and every other planet, even if the people refuse to come with us and then go to the big planet, they can stand up and then get shot too.
You've been reading too much of the Angron material.
But I said that because that's how the Tyranids work, though. Because if they don't just need sentient life, they need life in general. Like plants, water, anything that is alive. Mm-hmm. They can eat it, that makes them stronger, they get more information from it, they breed more.
Naturally.
So if we scorch the Earth and leave the Tyranids nothing, they'll get starved out before they can get to the big planet. So they won't be able to evolve as much. They won't be as strong. Some of their numbers will die, and then they'll be weaker. And I say, and then when we get there, when we get to that godforsaken planet, we are going to get everybody to the biggest city, and anybody that can hold a gun, build a wall, patch up wounds, they're going to be doing it. If you can't do any of those things, you go to the slums.
The slums.
We are the entire planet is now under martial law. Okay, and after that we're going to contact anybody that will listen from the Imperium. I'm talking Astra Militarum, Space Marines, and you better believe we're calling the fucking Death Watch.
Ah.
The Xeno Killer boys. We're calling them. And then we're under martial law. That means no smoking, no drinking, no partying. The only time, the only thing you'll ever be doing is you're going to be training, you're going to be building, you're going to be shooting, you're going to be working out, and the only thing that you'll be doing other than those things, you'll be sleeping or eating. And then I plan...
Shitting.
Yeah, no shitting.
No shitting.
I plan all that stuff out, and I'm like, okay, we may have a chance of winning. And then I wake up. I was very disappointed.
Didn't get to see it through. Well, what happens if the Tyranids eat each other?
They don't actually... They won't do that if they're in their own fleet, but there is... Tyranids are fucking weird and scary.
Yeah.
There's Tyranid fleets that are strictly used for killing weaker Tyranid fleets. So that they can kill them so that they can, pave the way for a stronger fleet to come by. And there's ones like that. There's also ones that are strictly used for... Because, it's all about, build up a resistance by exposure kind of thing with them. Where, there's ones that are specifically used for, killing, orcs and stuff. Because that's what they'll normally go for. Because they're best suited for it. Naturally. Because every fleet has its own hive mind, but they're all technically still kind of attached to a greater hive mind.
Mm-hmm. Mini hive minds.
Yes.
Small hives.
Tyranids are whack. They could easily be endgame Warhammer 40k, where all the Chaos guys they're going to attack Terra, but then as things look bleak, Tyranids!
The Tyranids are here to spread their Tyranid.
Their tyranny.
Yes. Oh, that reminds me of another dream I had. Have you ever watched Lost?
No.
Okay. Well, I'll get to that part. I was a cowboy.
In Lost?
No. You see, I was a cowboy.
Real life.
Yes, I was really a cowboy. This really happened. I was going around on some rainy night, riding my horse, and I find a house, an old house with a barn, and in the barn there was something important that I needed. So I go in to grab it, and a big door opens, and a giant fucking spider comes out, and I'm like, giant spider, that's no good. So I run. I run into the house, and for some reason, this house was really tall, but really, small. So it would be, stairs in the middle, and then all around the stairs would just be various rooms, but they're really tiny rooms. And so I kept going up and up and up and up and up, until I get to the roof, where I
kind of like a lighthouse.
Kind of, but not that tall.
Okay.
I get it, and you'll see why in a second. I get up to the top floor, and I go out a window onto the roof, and so I'm on the roof, and I use this to get around the spider, because I go around back, and I see my horse waiting for me, so I jump off the roof, and I get to my horse, so that's why it wasn't tall, because I would have broken my fucking legs. But
did you land on your horse's back and then ride off into the sunset?
No, that's too cool for me.
Okay.
This was where things got whack, because it was nighttime, and I sit there, I'm like, we should go back for the thing that we came for, but we can't do that. And I look to the side, and I see over the hills comes a giant mass of smoke in a long formation, just a long straight formation. This massive cloud of smoke, and it's snaking its way towards me. And this is where the Lost thing comes in, because in Lost there was a smoke monster that was basically just a column of smoke that would chase after people. Well, this one was scarier because it screamed at you and had teeth. So I'm like, oh shit. So I hop on my fucking horse and I start riding away. And so I have to ride right past it, and it's like comes from the side, and then it starts chasing behind me, and the entire time it's going, ah!
I don't like that.
And I'm like, oh no. And as I'm running, I'm riding, I'm like, I gotta get back to the home base, because I will be safe there. Two more come over the hills, and I have to ride right past them as they are coming towards me.
Like as they're closing in?
Yeah.
Like they're trying to pincer you?
Yeah, they only came one at a time, because one was closer than the other. And so we were basically running directly at each other, and I had to swerve to the side to kind of go right past it. And the entire time they are screaming at me, gnashing their teeth. I'm like, oh no. Eventually, I fucking... these things are hot on my tail, so I I get into the woods and I find my home base. And the thing is, it's like trashed. There's nothing there. But apparently that's how it's supposed to be. Because I dive off my horse onto the ground. And then I crawl towards a hatch in the floor. And I open it up into the underground bunker we apparently have. And I just fucking, like, scamper in there. And I'm like, I have made it home. And I sat in this underground bunker and waited for the fucking smoke monsters to go away. It was terrifying.
That reminds me. I remember, like, the last bad dream that I had. Do you remember the last bad dream you had?
The last really bad one, I'm not sure. Honestly, lately, it might have been, like, sleep paralysis stuff that's lately been getting me, but...
Really? I've never had sleep paralysis.
I'm not sure if it actually is sleep paralysis. This is just what I think it was, but it's like... I've had on multiple occasions the problem where you see like a dark figure and it just terrifies you despite not really being anything. One time I just like I apparently saw something on the roof while I'm sitting there sleeping, and I just get up and I'm like, what the fuck? And of course my mom comes up, she's like, you okay? And I'm just sitting there like staring at the ceiling. I'm like, yeah, why? He's like, you just like freaked the fuck out about something. I'm like, did I? I don't know. I thought that was a dream. But then recently I'm sitting there, you know, long day of classes, whatever. I get home and I just fucking pass out on my bed for a bit, and I swear to God I saw this massive shadowy spider on the ceiling. And I sit there and I see it and I'm like, what the fuck? So I sit there for a second, and eventually I just throw myself up out of bed and I turn on the light and I'm staring at the ceiling. I'm like, it's not there, but it was there. And it's like, I only really thought of it as sleep paralysis recently because I've heard people talk about sleep paralysis, and it's like you feel very afraid, and you tend to see like shadowy figures, which is the way I would describe that, but I don't know. I don't recall feeling particularly paralyzed, except not for long. So
it's wacky.
It is very wacky.
The last bad dream that I had, it actually happened after my dad had a bad dream. And he told me about it, and it really freaked him out because he said that he was standing at a Starbucks, and then a girl, she had a baby in her hand, and she just kind of misstepped or something, and then the baby fell out of her hand, and the baby smashed its soft spot. I shouldn't be laughing. It was very traumatizing for him, but the baby fell out of the girl's hand and smashed the soft spot of its head on the corner of a table. And my dad said that he reached out to try and grab it, and he woke up and he still had that same like hand motion of trying to reach out to grab it, and he was like, ah!
We shouldn't laugh at this.
Yeah.
Although that reminds me of another thing, but
it is very, very messed up. But I had a dream that I was at the hospital, and God, it was very scary at the time, but thinking about it now, it's just so stupid.
That's how they work a lot of the time.
My dad was in a hospital, and the nurses were coming by, and they were like, the soft spot in his head isn't healing over. And then some guy dressed in all black ran in and pushed the soft spot of his head in, and he died. And I woke up in tears, and I'm like, oh my God. And I was like, no, that didn't actually happen. Why the fuck did that scare me so bad?
That makes me think of two things. One, it reminded me of the last bad dream I had that I can remember. And I remember it's because it's not even particularly whack. I remember I was sitting there in my room, I entered my room, and my mom was just standing there in the room. And there's no furniture anywhere except my bed. And she's holding a phone. And I'm like, what? And she's like, the phone is for you. So I take the phone, and in it I'm just listening to some friend of mine, I think. And they're just like crying. They're like, why, man? Why? I'm like, I'm sorry.
So you knew what you did.
I don't know. I'm like, God damn it.
I know what you did last summer, Kyle.
No, don't murder me with a fishhook. But That reminds me of a terrible thing I've done. So, recently, my mom went out somewhere, and she's like, "Hey, you wanna come?" I'm like, I can't. Working on projects, end of semester assignments and all that. Busy time. Can't really spare the time. And you're like, okay, well, I gotta stop at your grandmother's place before or afterwards, because apparently I'm going to drop something off for her. I'm like, okay. And he does, and of course, when she comes back, she's like, yeah, grandmother's not in the best shape. Her house is certainly not in good shape either, etc., etc. I'm like, well, it's been like that for a while. My other mom, I met her while I was on my way to school, and she mentioned that she was going over to my grandmother's place. This is her mother, by the way. Mm-hmm. But mentioned that she's going over there, and she's gonna fucking help her with some shit, help her clean some shit, and like, okay. Then like 2 days later, my grandmother died, and that was very unfortunate. But and I don't want to downplay that it's unfortunate, because it is, but I take these things in stride. So, and I like to be lighthearted about a lot of things.
Try and find the light in the dark.
Yeah. Well, next time my mom's going out, she texts me and it's like, do you wanna come out when I go out? I'm like, what? And I made a lot of jokes about it, because I think she was stopping by Walmart. So I made some like whole speech of like, well, my life would be hollow and meaningless without the absolute splendor of Walmart. But then I'm like, also, last time I didn't go, my grandmother fucking died, so maybe that was a warning. And then,
what did she say?
When I talked to her in person, when she got back home, she's like, "You made me laugh about my mother-in-law's death, and that's not cool." But she was laughing. And I'm like, yeah, that's what I do.
Gotta be able to laugh, I guess.
Yeah. Wild times.
Indeed.
Yeah.
We need another topic.
We do.
Actually, I remember one... This is the Dream episode as well as a Christmas episode.
This is the Dream On episode.
I remember my one nightmare from like when I was a kid that really messed me up for some reason. But looking at it now, it's still a really stupid one. Where like it started out as a normal dream, and then like me and my friends, we all went into an abandoned house for whatever reason. And we were all like, we were having fun, we were throwing stuff around, we were just being kids. And then like a loud noise happened, and then I looked over at my friend, and then my vision zoomed in really close to his face, and he was like, "Ghost! Ghost!" And then like my vision went red, and then my friend was like jumping up and down, and then I woke up and I was having heart palpitations because I was so scared from it for no reason.
I remember a few of my bad dreams from when I was a kid. Have you ever like been lying in bed or whatever with your eyes closed trying to sleep, and you just feel as if you're like suddenly out of your own body, or like you're sinking into your bed while your own vision's like going up? Mm-hmm. I used to feel that a lot when I was a kid. So I had this one dream where I'm like wibbling wobbling, all going up and down. It's really weird. And then suddenly I would fall through my bed, and I'd be going down like a chute, like a slide, and I'd wind up on the lower floor of my house, and I would slide right into like this big suit of armor, like it's right out of fucking Scooby-Doo, and he'd fucking kill me with an axe. That one was a recurring one. But another one I have...
You probably got to the point where it's like, oh no, I'm floating out of my bed again. I really hope that suit of armor doesn't kill me again.
I hope he's not
here
down
I go.
there.
That sounds... I hate it. That's how dreams work. Because like I'll have dreams where I'm like, I'm in the ocean. I'm like, oh yeah, this is nice. I really hope there's no sharks around.
Yeah, I would have other... I remember there was another one where I would be in that lower floor of my house, and I'd try to go up the stairs, but they would be slippery, and so I'd basically be trying to just claw my way up the steps, and I'd know there's something behind me trying to, like, come out of the shadows. That one was spooky. But another one was, this one was really weird because, it frightened me as a kid, but it was also, like, very strange because the person in it actually said things that were weird. It was, I would be sitting there in the old lunchroom, except it was, back in elementary school, our lunchroom was just a gym, and it had these, basic ass, tables and benches that they'd take out. We were in that gym, but for some reason, instead of the old tables and benches, they had it like booths for a restaurant. So it was actually kind of nice. And I was just sitting across from my friend. It was just at this table. And my friend was crying. I'm like, oh man, what's the issue?
Sitch?
Yeah, what's the shit, bro? And he's sitting there and like, my mother has no food. I'm like, what? Like, she's going to starve. I'm like, whoa, man, calm down. And
Did he have food?
It was lunch, but I don't think we were eating anything.
Oh.
But he's just crying and going, she's going to starve! And his fingers turn into claws. He starts turning red. And I sit there.
You look like food!
I sit there, I'm like, I look to the guy behind me, I'm like, bro, like, what's going on? And he's just ignoring me. I'm like, does anyone notice that this man is going sicko mode? But this was way before sicko mode. But he's going, she's going to starve! And his head turns into, like, this, like, one of those, like, tiki mask kind of things. Red tiki mask. And I'm like, it's time to go. So I get up and fucking run away. And he starts chasing me through the halls. It was, like, big fucking claws and shit. And I'm like,
she's going to starve.
Yeah, that's what I remember. I just remember him, like, going through this, like, morbid transformation going, she's going to starve!
I actually wrote this one down, and I wasn't sure if I was going to share it on the podcast or not, because it's actually kind of sentimental and wholesome, but I remember this one dream that I had where, okay, I'll paint the scene first before I actually say what I have written down. It's like we're inside of a hollow iceberg or something, or like there's just a floating piece of ice that has like a top kind of cave opening over it. Okay. But the inside, there's only like a rim around the inside where only a couple people can stand on, and the rest is just open. Okay. And there's just an opening on the other side. There's like a big dangling ice chandelier in the middle. Mm-hmm. And all I remember is me and some like unnamed person. I looked really beat up, but this person looked like they were on death's doorstep, but they were still holding on. And like they were like, this is just hopeless. Mm-hmm. And then I kind of see the sun coming up over the horizon, because like there's just a bunch of water. We're in the middle of the ocean. Yeah. And then a song starts playing, and like I wrote down the lyrics. Some men were born, raised to wave the flag. Ooh, that red, white, and blue. I'll say the song after because it's not as important. But I'm the one that's singing it. Like I start singing it, and then I stomp my feet down on a chunk of the ice, and then we kind of start to drift away. And like we're just like shy of the middle where we're kind of facing the entrance, but like we kind of stop moving. And I see a big boat on the horizon, and like the song's still playing, and then I run and I drop kick the giant chandelier, and then I kick myself, like from the momentum of kicking the chandelier, I kick myself back onto the ice raft, and we move a little bit, but then the chandelier falls, and it creates a wave that carries us to the boat. Wow. And it was a wholesome dream. But the song, it goes like this. It's cheesy. It's kind of dumb, but it came from my brain. I did not write this myself. This was Eric's midnight crisis brain.
This was sleepy Eric.
Okay, here it is. I want to be a part of the ocean, twisting waves running wild and free. Your petty problems could never bother me. I want to be part of the ocean. They create my waves, while sun, it shines my day. I want to be a part of the ocean. I wish the waves of change could help me rearrange the way we see we're all part of one big squall, and fighting against it won't help at all. Will you be a part of my ocean?
That's wholesome.
Yeah, I liked it. I don't know why I can't think that creatively normally.
The things that come to a sleep-addled brain.
It was wacky.
Very wacky. Dreams are whack.
Brains are dumb.
Brains are stupid, especially ours. Because we're stupid.
This is Crimbus. What are you thankful for Crimbus?
I'm thankful that the school semester is over.
I do not go to school. Your petty problems do not bother me. You are not a part of my ocean.
I'm just drowning in my own.
I am thankful for my dear friends and family. You're not my friend. We are out of topics. Let's make this a short episode.
Short Crimbus special.
This is a short Crimbus special. We need to go and spend time with our Crimbus families.
Yes, our Crimbus family.
Because
my family is smaller now.
It is. Keep your circle small. Don't be afraid to cut toxic people out of your life.
The only thing that was toxic was her kidney.
That still counts. All right. Well, good night, everyone. Merry Christmas, and have a Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas.
If we aren't there for that.
Yeah, you should spend Christmas with people who aren't us.
Good idea. Good night, everyone.
Good night.